Okay, welcome to part 2 of Journey of Your Game. And this one's about knowing your end game. And to me, this is going to help you with being purposeful and deliberate in everything you say and do. So you might remember back to the previous video when we were particularly talking about movement, having a sense of doing things with purpose and being deliberate as opposed to just winging it. This to me is the secret of it. And it's essentially taking time to be conscious of what is the end position you want to get to. Okay. Without that reference point, an example of this, Dar says we're filming this just before we're heading over to the States to play the sales game over there. If we didn't have an end point, an end destination, an end position, not only from a place of geography, social hierarchy, we've thought about this, right? We've been deliberate in everything we're doing right up until this point. We would not, if we didn't have that reference point, that end position on all spectrums, it would make it very difficult for us to reverse engineer from that point and start taking action today and working out how fast or slow we want to get there.
Of course. The creation of this content hub is a direct reflection of it being a step on the journey of us knowing where ultimately we want the game to be.
For sure.
Everything becomes obvious once you know your end game, because you know where you are, you know where you want to be, and then it just becomes a matter of mapping out the steps in between and understanding what needs to be ticked off along the way. And then it's just a matter of doing it, which some people fall short of in that, but they'll never fall short as a result of not knowing what to do.
100%. And I think even the worst thing is people don't take time to plan and know their end game. They take action anyway because they're action takers. And then what happens is, I think it's worse to take action in the wrong direction than to do nothing at all.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you an example of this. If we want to head north, we're heading to America, but we didn't have that plan. And so we didn't have an end reference point, but we're action takers. We're like, no, let's just do heaps of stuff. And we start heading south. Well, guess what? Now we've added more time, we've burnt energy, and we're in the opposite direction of where we actually wanted to go. You would have been better off to do nothing at all. But obviously you are action takers because you wouldn't be in this program if you weren't. So what we'd love to do to make this super practical. And by the way, when you get to part 7 of this will be a program that will change your life. I promise you, this is all building up to that point. But if you want to take a real practical thing right now, I'd encourage you to grab a piece of paper and draw a horizontal line. And at the end of the horizontal line on the right-hand side, as you can see on this screen, write what your end game is. What's the destination? What's the position? Where do you want to be in your business, in a particular project, in a strategy, whatever else it may be? And then what you want to do is you want to start reverse engineering from that point. Okay, so if we want to be here playing the game in Orlando, what's the next immediate step before that point? And what's the next immediate step before that point? You keep going all the way back until you get to present day. And now you've mapped out a blueprint. You've mapped out a strategic plan. This can even be to closing sales. Okay, what's the end game? Well, we want this sort of commitment and agreement at this price point by this time frame. Sweet. Well, if we have that done, if we need that to happen, what's the immediate step before that? Before. And then you start realizing, okay, I need to buy a new pen,
Yeah.
You can start taking action on that, and away you go. Question to ask, this would be interesting. Why do you think, I think a lot of people will be listening to this, watching this and going, yeah, that totally makes sense. Without an end game, how do I know where I'm going? Without some sort of position. Why is it that you think people don't do it despite it being, sounding like logically makes sense?
Because the short-term gain is always easier to feel good about than delaying long-term gratification.
Yeah.
That's just natural. It's so much easier. It's like, you're going to die at the end of today. Do you want the broccoli or the donut? You're like, I'll take the donut. It's a whole lot nicer. I feel better right now. It's all good. Just give me the chocolate donut.
In fact, give me 1,700 of them.
Yeah, give me it doesn't matter.
I'd rather die by donut than die from
yeah, that's it. Yeah, than by choking on the broccoli. So So this is the thing, is that it's a game of what's your long-term gratification. Now, I always see this as people will be like, oh, but then you can never live in the moment, or you can never enjoy the now. And that isn't true at all. This is just more a concept to live by. Is how can I make tomorrow Darcy's day better? How can I make Darcy in a year from now? How can I make his life easier? So I live for him, not for me now. Right.
Yeah.
But I also understand that but I enjoy the now, like as in I can take the time to enjoy a round of golf and be purely doing it. But I'm also doing it. It's not one or the other. I'm also doing it for the fact that I'm enjoying that in the moment. But I also know that if I enjoy that now, then in a year from now, I'm going to be a happier person because I did this today. Does that make sense?
Spot on.
Yeah. And so that's the key is once you know your end game, realize that by moving towards it or doing whatever you can today to work towards it, you're going to have yourself a better future. But here's the thing. You feel a whole lot better today and in the moment of today, whatever you're doing, knowing that it's going to make the future you better. It feels really good to go to the gym. Or no one ever got home from the gym and said, oh, geez, I wish I didn't do that.
For sure.
You know, like it's always feels better to feel the pain of now, or, you know, the delay the gratification now always feels better after you've delayed the gratification and you're experiencing it later on.
For
always.
Sure. Yeah. I like that. I think that's a really practical strategy. As you know, Das, maybe the watchers right now, kind of a weird dude. I love personifying emotions. I love personifying things.
Yes.
Like when you have a version of yourself, which is like future you, and you have conversations with future you,
yes,
in your mind, you're like, what would future you say right now? It can actually help. But I found that there's actually correlation as well between difficulty and reward.
Go on.
Meaning that those two things are synonymous, meaning the reward will always be greater for those that have successfully navigated difficult things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you're a gymnast and you want 10 points, you know, reward and difficulty are synonymous. You know, you don't just go out there and stand up and go, hey, you're not going to get 10 points for that. But if you're okay with that, that's fine. You need to do like a triple, double pike thing.
Yeah.
It's like, that's what gets a reward, right?
Triple, double. Yeah. Pick the gymnast in the room.
Yeah. And so it's really, really hard to do those things. And typically an end game, well, particularly the exciting ones, are difficult by nature. You know, there's going to be challenges. It's going to be things that you have to navigate around. It's going to be hard to get there. But when you get that in your mind, that the reward will be always worth it. So no matter how difficult it is, you will always be rewarded. And always, in my mind, a little bit more than you thought.
Yes.
When you get that concept in your mind, you're talking to future you, asking him or her what would make them happy in the future. And then you realize that delayed gratification gives you joy in the now.
Yes.
You got a nice little excitement bubble where every day is pretty damn cool.
Nice.
You know, you might not be doing anything in particular, but you know you're on a journey. You know the steps to get there. You know it's going to be hard, but the reward will be more than adequate. And you're going to be okay with delayed gratification, which means now is fun.
Yes.
Now is joyful rather than fleeting. It's killer. You know, it makes doing something like this really, really exciting to me because I'm like, that's just one step on the journey, you know? And that's just going to get us a little bit closer to the really big, amazing vision that we're heading towards. You know, this is just a little journey. So it makes just talking really fun, you know?
And I would suggest that in the sales game, again, it applies here where you get to test out and try out and test and measure strategies that would help you on the journey to your end game or not. So if you're like, I've got this end game, I wonder if I approach people in this particular way, will that take me closer to my end game or further away? You get to simulate that in the sales game. So you approach them, maybe I just need to shut up a bit. Maybe I need to stop talking so much. Maybe that'll help me get to my end game.
Yeah.
Great. Well, for the first 25% of the first half of the first day of the sales game, I'm not going to say a word. I'm just going to try. Just see what happens. And it's the perfect simulation environment to give that a go.
Yeah, it's great. So that's the practicality. Love to know, what's your end game? What are you working towards? What's the love or the pursuit that you're on? Like, what's your vision? What's your dreams? What are your goals?
Really important here, really important point here, is especially for this one, you know, in the videos so far, we've been like questions, comments, and we trust you guys have been keeping them coming so far. But with this one, please let us know. You never know. I love this idea of, and this is how I did all my networking when I was in my first couple of years of business, was every time I walked in, I just said, you never know who knows who you want to know. You know, I always wanted to meet Robert Plant, the lead singer of Led Zeppelin. He's still alive. Maybe I'll get there one day. But you'd never know who knows that guy. You know, you never know. The first person you shake hands, next person you shake hands with could know them, right? So the whole idea is this. Put it in the comments below. What is your end game? You never know who's going to read that, that's going to go, hey, Steve, I can help you with that. Hey, Darcy, I know the exact person that you need to speak to help you achieve that. You never know who's reading your comments. So please put your end game down for your sake more than anyone else's. It may just help you.
Yeah, and if the lead singer of Led Zeppelin's in our group right now, just
hey, Mr. Plant. Hey, like, love you to come join the sales game if you're up for it, man.
We'll do this again.
This one. Go for it.